Good afternoon. This is Jeff Usher, Kansas Health Foundation Program Officer. Welcome to the 26th, I counted today, 26th webinar that we've done with the HCI communities. And I might encourage you, for those who are interested, you can go on the HCI website and look at any of those archived webinars. I also wanted to point out that we've received several grant status reports from our HCI 2-1 communities over the last year, and I got to say that it's really impressive, all the work that everyone's doing. It clearly shows that we're making progress in communities across the state of Kansas. And I also have just got done reviewing the reports that the HCI 2 communities will get from Innovation Network, and those are really energizing. So congratulations with all your hard work, and we'll look forward to more hard work over the next year or so, year or 2 years. Adrienne, why don't you go ahead and I'll turn it over to you with some housekeeping items.
Sure, thank you. Just a couple of things. First, all of your phone lines are muted to help reduce the background noise during the webinar. I encourage you to please call in for the audio using your telephone and not your computer speakers if possible. When you do call in, please use your audio pin so that your lines can be unmuted to participate in the discussion as we go forward. Please, again, make sure that your computer speakers are muted to help eliminate the background noise. And again, if you can use your telephone for audio, that would be best. The webinar is being recorded and will be archived on SharePoint, hopefully by the end of the week or beginning of next. We'll also be setting aside a time throughout the webinar for any questions that you might have. Please go ahead and type questions into the chat box on the right side of your screen. And if we are able, we will unmute participants as we go forward with specific questions, especially around their Facebook pages. We will close with some additional announcements about upcoming events and some due dates. With that, I will go ahead and turn it over to Lindsay.
Good afternoon, this is Lindsay Spees, and I have the pleasure of introducing Kat Poland. She is a social media strategist, and she is also on our communications team at Kansas Health Foundation for social media. And so take it away, Kat.
All right, thank you. I am glad to be here today and glad to be speaking with all of you, and I'm very impressed with all of your great work. I've been keeping track through Lindsay. She sends me updates on what you're doing, and we try to share things on our Facebook page. I wanted to start off today by talking a little bit about expectations. I think one of the things we all hope to achieve as social media managers for our prospective Facebook pages is to be a minion master. You know, we've got these followers, and we hope they help us achieve world domination. So I think we all start out with our social media accounts and are very gung-ho, and I think that's a great place to be, and I'd like to help get you re-energized to realize the power of social media. We're going to talk about some realistic goal setting, fighting analysis paralysis with trying to decide what to post, and also managing expectations, and some ideas for making your lives a little bit easier if you're managing your social media accounts. I hope to leave here today confident and re-energized to manage your social media accounts. A little bit about me. I am a communication strategist, social media strategist for the Kansas Health Foundation. You can go to my website at katpoland.com if you wanted to learn any more about me. Lindsay was hoping I'd have a photo of me, and that was me at the top of the page, if anybody wanted to know what I look like. So, no, you can go to that website if you wanted to know a little bit more about me. I also want to thank the coalitions who offered up their Facebook pages today for me to use as examples. I think it's a great hands-on exercise. And if any of you want to chime in while I'm talking about your page, just let us know in the chat box and we can unmute your line. So we'd love to hear from you if you want to chime in, and if you don't, that's fine too. Okay. I want to talk a little bit about why social media still matters. I think you're either passionate about social media or you're not, and that's fine. I think it can start to feel a little burdensome, feels like something you have to do, and maybe you you think maybe you can put it on the back burner and it won't matter, but I'm here to tell you it definitely does still matter. I think most of you have a social media presence, a Facebook page at least, which is great. If any of you are still on the fence about whether or not you should have one, I would say definitely jump off the fence. You don't have to run too far or too fast, but most certainly get off the fence and get something going. I want to help you think of ways to save time, be more effective, and accurately gauge your success. People get their news from Facebook pages especially. A lot of times it can be used as an alternative website or a supplement to a website where somebody just simply wants to know what you're about. That's somewhere they can go and find out more information. Somebody asked the other day, is Facebook going away anytime soon? You know, isn't Facebook something of yesterday? And I will say most certainly not. 74% of people have a Facebook account. So if you want to get in front of your audience, that's most certainly where you need to be. And people want to engage with you there. I would encourage you to just think about making connections with community members, other coalitions, government officials, local media, potential funders, anybody who might be connected with your coalition, reaching out to them through Facebook especially. I want to talk today about a particular coalition's Facebook page that has been very successful. If we could get Damaris on the line. I'm going to do a little bit of jumping back and forth between the presentation and Facebook. I'm going to get Thrive, Allen County pulled up here. Okay, Damaris, do we have you?
Can you hear me?
I can. Wonderful. Okay. You obviously have a great Facebook presence here. We've got almost 1,500 people like the page. We've got a great graphic across the top there. It definitely looks like a well-maintained page. And I wanted to ask you a few questions so you could share your wealth of knowledge with others. What would you say is your biggest challenge in the day-to-day maintenance of your Facebook page?
Let's see. Well, I think the biggest challenge that we're facing now, which wasn't when we first started, is just that Thrive has a bunch of different things that we work on. We have the staff members that have different grants that they're working off of and stuff, so maybe it would be competing, like making sure that we're considerate of when someone posts something about their grant, you know, when we're mindful about reposting again.
Okay.
Not over. It would not be that we don't have time to post, because we feel that we're excited. We have people that want to know what we're doing, and so we want to make sure that as news comes to us or things that we have going on with Thrive, we want to get it out there real quick.
Great. And another question I had for you, but I think you may have just answered it. What would you say is your key to success? One of the things I heard you talk about is that it seems to be something you enjoy doing. You have an excitement for it. So would you say that your passion for getting the message out this way is one of your keys for success?
Yes. When first started, the Facebook page had 11 likes in a couple years, and just knowing that everybody really was having conversations that way. So I think the reason why it was important for me is that I had moved from another community back here. This is my home area, hometown, and my friends knew I was working for Thrive, so I just went in there and asked all my friends to like the Thrive page, and the page started building really quickly. And then the work that we do here is fun and interesting, and people, they want to know what's going on. So I think it is a passion for the relationships that we've developed in the community, and just to keep people in the loop, because we rely heavily on volunteers. And so when we're throwing out some of the work that we're doing, then people are feeding back to us, how do we get involved, or where are you doing this? So just, we'd like to be part of that.
Great. So I think that's perfect. Right, and that's how you have to approach it. The social aspect is very important, and I think if you take away nothing else today, I will say to somehow find a way to be excited about your social media presence. And if Damaris, if they can call you and you give a little pep talk, maybe that's what they need. So I think it really shows your passion and your excitement. Definitely shows in your page. And I appreciate your time and chiming in here. So thank you.
I really appreciate that feedback. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, let me get back up here. I apologize for jumping back and forth in between, but I'd really like to show the different pages as we're talking about them. Okay, I know that you're all working with limited time. I know, and especially if it's not something you have a passion for, it can be definitely something that you put last on your day-to-day tasks. So I would encourage you to think of ways to work smarter and really utilize your time in an efficient manner. Scheduling posts is something that I would definitely encourage, but I would say encourage with caution. I'd like to give an example. I'll just make up an example here. Let's say you're going to be putting something about encouraging people to bike to school, which is great. And let's say you schedule that post for the next day at 10 a.m. and unfortunately that evening there happens to be an accident in town where a local child is hit on their bicycle. You want to be aware of current events and what's going on. That way, that timing would be really poor to have something, encouraging people to get on their bikes. You just want to be cognizant of that. And I think it would be an appropriate opportunity to talk about bicycle safety and encouraging drivers to look out for people on bicycles. But definitely, if you're going to be scheduling posts out into the future, make sure that you're aware of what's getting ready to post. And I would encourage you to have some evergreen posts prepared that whether or not they published or not, it wouldn't really matter if there was some type of current event that happened along with that. You also want to boost your post if possible. I'm going to jump back over to the Kansas Health Foundation page. And as you can see, I am using Facebook as Kansas Health Foundation. Some of you may or may not be aware that you can go right over here and you can choose, those are some other pages that I manage, you can choose who you're using Facebook as, and that's I think it's a good way to see information from other pages that you're following and to really make sure that you're performing your social media duties accurately as that page, because sometimes it can get a little bit confusing. So let me jump over to the Kansas Health Foundation page. And if you're not aware how to schedule a post, it's really pretty simple. You will prepare your post. Some of you may prefer to just type right here into the box. I like to write my post on a separate document and then paste them into here, copy and paste them into here, because I would hate to start writing something and then accidentally publish it, but it's really up to you. And then you would simply go to this little drop-down menu and select Schedule, and you can choose the date and the time there, which is great. So if you have perhaps a chunk of time at the beginning of the week and you want to do a few posts sprinkled throughout the week, that's a great way to do that. After you have a post scheduled, I don't have one currently right now for Kansas Health Foundation, but it'll show you your upcoming posts, and you can click and edit those posts or delete them if you choose to after you schedule it. So if you schedule something and change your mind, you can go back and edit. And I'm not sure if any of you are currently boosting your posts, but I did get some great news from Jeff that it sounds like that's an opportunity to use some of your TA funds. Am I using that terminology correctly? Okay. So I would encourage you to spend a little bit of money on boosting posts. You have to have some type of credit or debit card associated with the account. So I'm not sure about working out all of those logistics, but there will have to be a preset card that you'll be using to boost those posts. And it's again, pretty simple. Can you explain what a boost is? A boost, yeah. A boost is basically sponsoring a post. You're putting some dollars behind it to get it in front of more eyeballs. Facebook is becoming more and more difficult to achieve organic reach like it used to be. You have to put some money behind it if you want anybody to see your post. And that's not always the case, but I would say especially if you have some type of big event or something coming up that you really want to get the word out about, even $5, $10 behind a post can make a really big difference. So you'll simply click Boost Post, and this is after you've set up your whatever type of card you're going to be using with it. And you can choose your audience, people who like your page, people who like your page and their friends. That's a really smart, strategic way to just reach the people who are already associated with your page and that circle just of influence right outside that group, which is great. And you can also highly target through location. So I recently posted an article about a program occurring in Burton, and I chose that particular community. You can go ahead and create a new audience, and you can really narrow in around your community. And it's so far been very effective. So, and then you can choose your total budget, or you can choose your own. Let's say you want to only do $5. That's fine too. And then it will show you down here. Let's see, minimum budget per day. Okay, it used to be 5. Now we've got to go up to 7. So there we go. Always changing. It will show you, estimate how many people that you'll be reaching. Now, keep in mind that was the audience in Burton. I think it was Burton and 50 miles outside of Burton. So it will show you, if I go up to people who like your page and your friends, you'll see that number adjust a bit. And you can choose how long you'd like to boost that post. So hopefully that'll give you enough of an overview to go in and boost a post if you would like, which I would highly encourage. Also, I want to feature the page from the Healthy Harvey Coalition. So if you want to chime in when I'm talking about your page, please feel free to let us know in the chat box. And if you don't want to, that's fine as well. Let me get that page pulled up. Was it Lori or was it Lisa? Lori. That's who I have on my list. Okay, she's not on here, so okay. It may need to be Lisa. Okay. Let's see. When we're thinking about working smarter with our social media accounts, I would encourage you to share relevant information from other pages or other people. So the Healthy Harvey Coalition has done a great job of sharing information. For example, we've got from Newton Bike Shop here, encouraging people to purchase bike locks. We've got from Heal Reno County, a great article there, Get Active Kansas. So as you can see, instead of having to sit down every day and think of something to post, they've found great information from other community organizations or from the health department that somehow correlate with their page. So you've got some pedestrian safety tips here, which is great. I would definitely encourage you to do this when possible. You want to make sure it's not too far of a stretch, but if you want to look at their page is a great example of a coalition that's doing that currently with their Facebook page. Okay. All right. Let's talk about now putting your best face forward with your social media accounts. You want to make sure that first of all, that whatever image is associated with your coalition immediately resonates with your audience so they can tell who it is with the account. So we've got some great logos here that were used as profile photos for pages that I put together. And we've got one in Thomas County. They weren't going to be able to be on the call, correct? Okay. Let's do focus on their page for just a bit here. Actually, we'll go to, Heartland Healthy Neighborhoods first. We have Heartland Healthy Neighborhoods on the call that wants to chime in. Just let us know. Okay. All right, so we've got a great Nope, that didn't work. Sorry, we had some feedback that the screen needed to be a little bit bigger. Okay, sorry. We've got a great background photo here, or a cover photo for the page, so that's great. Let people know they're on the Heartland Healthy Neighborhoods page. One thing I would recommend is instead of having a photo as the profile picture here, to go ahead and maybe try to switch those out. And I'm not sure if you've got a more, what is it, like a square version of your logo that might fit in this space here. Because as people are scrolling through their Facebook feed, they might have a difficult time discerning what this small picture is here. If you open it, it's actually really great. It looks like it's a thank you board with sponsors and some members from your coalition. So it's a great photo, and it should put some faces with your cause, but I think it would be better served as the cover photo for the page versus the profile photo. So that's one thing I would like to encourage you, is to take a look at your pages and your different social media assets and try to align them together. Okay. Also wanted to focus in on Thomas County. And I'm going to search for them, and I'll show you what happens. Oops. Unfortunately, we searched for Thomas County Coalition, and you're not able to find their Facebook page. And the reason for that, we discovered later, is they actually changed the name of their page. They've got a great page here, great cover photo, great logo, but the name of the page is Thomas Cole. And unfortunately, they're not on the call today, or we could ask them a few questions about that. So I would definitely encourage you, if the name of your page is something other than your organization, to definitely reconsider and actually have the name of your organization as accurate as possible. For example, there's some coalitions with the name Live Well. Some it's one word, some it's two. So make sure, whichever yours is, to have an accurate page name so people can find it if possible. So that's definitely some things to take into consideration, are your photos and the name of your page, to make sure people can find you.
And Kat, this is also an example of the previous Heartland Healthy Neighborhoods. This was what you were suggesting, having a picture of the background.
Correct.
And the logo, and it's okay.
Yeah, great example. Yeah. So just flipping it, I think really, that way you can see the faces, you have some nice personality to the page, and then your logo is used as your profile photo. And as you can see with the Kansas Health Foundation, that's how our page is set up right now. We before we had a kind of wheat field as a cover photo, which was nice, but we wanted to have some people have some faces as part of our page, which I think worked out great. Okay. Go back to the presentation here. And if you're feeling like you're stuck on who to follow, because as a Facebook page, you can like or follow other Facebook pages and get some great content ideas. And I'm talking primarily about Facebook, but these principles can apply to Twitter as well if you've got a Twitter account. Who should you be following? I just put together a list here. Other community organizations. I would encourage you to make sure you're following each other. Make sure you're going and finding all the other coalition pages and liking their pages to see what they're doing and get ideas from each other, and share each other's content as well. City and county government, media outlets, local schools, universities, chamber of commerce, libraries. I would say on the buy-sell trade groups, if you're posting content to those pages or following along with those to find out about local events. I would encourage you to do that with caution. Some have rules and guidelines about posting community fits on the pages. Most of the time, if it's a small community, people are more than willing to let you post your event or your your upcoming information session or something in those buy-sell trade groups on Facebook. Those can be a great resource to find local people who might be interested in your cause. But I would say definitely proceed with caution. And if they have some written rules about what can and can't be posted there, obviously you want to go ahead and follow along with those. And I wanted to focus on the page from Live Well Crawford County. And put it up there. Here we go. Live Well Crawford County. If you go down the bottom left here, you can see liked by this page. We've got a really pretty extensive list of other organizations they're following or that they've gone and liked, which is wonderful. They can go and share information from those pages. So right now we're viewing it as the Kansas Health Foundation, so it shows me as the social media manager for Kansas Health Foundation, here's some other organizations that I probably need to go in and like as our page. But these are all the pages that Live Well Crawford County has actively liked, which is wonderful. And if you're curious as to how to do that, you want to make sure you're using your Facebook page as your coalition account. And that way, if you go in and like another page, it's not on your personal Facebook page, which you can do that as well. But go ahead and like it as your page. And it's a great way to share content and so you feel like you're not having to generate something new every day. Okay, I'm going to talk about how to boost without bucks. We've got some great PA funds available to make some boosts, but here are some ideas of how to get your posts out there without having to put money behind it, or maybe not as much money. And it's a liberal area coalition for families. I'm going to talk about your page here in a bit. If you wanted to chime in, just let us know in the chat box. Make sure you're asking any board members or committee members, people associated with your coalition, ask them to like your page, make sure they like your page first of all, invite them to share information from your page. Also want to share popular content from other Facebook pages that are really viral. So for example, onlyinyourstate.com, BuzzFeed. We've had some great success with the Kansas Health Foundation page, sharing some content that has already gone viral. For example, there was a great post from onlyinyourstate.com about a hiking trail in Kansas. And it was a great post for the Kansas Health Foundation to share about being outside, being active, and that went viral through our page, which was great. And I only had to put a small boost behind it, maybe $5, $10, and it really took off. So definitely look for those things that are already going viral, and if they can be used to get the word out about your page, then definitely grab a hold of that. Share studies and news stories that support your cause to get people talking. Sometimes something is a little bit controversial is okay. If it gets people talking, gets people sharing, that's wonderful. You want to think about checking out Thunderclap. It's a great program where people can sign up and basically hand over the keys to their social media accounts, and it will post something at the same time on all of their social media accounts on their personal pages. So check that out. There is an option that's free for students and small nonprofits. You'll just have to see whether or not that meets your needs, or if there are some funds available there, you may want to spend a little bit more to increase your reach. But that's another great kind of newer tool that you might want to think about using. Also, events are a great way to get the word out. Events tend to take off more than if you put a flyer up I would definitely encourage you to create an actual Facebook event to get more people to attend, to have more visibility there. So let me jump over to the Liberal Area Coalition for Families. There we go. Okay. Got some content here. I want to show, we've got some shares going on here. And one thing I found, I found here, we've got Julie sharing here, which is great. You'll tend to find either the social media manager or somebody that associated with your page is going to share more often than anybody else. I would say, you know, however many people are associated with your page, with your cause, you know, you want to see that number of shares increase, because you can reach out to them through an instant message through Facebook and say, hey, would you mind sharing this? Most people don't mind doing that. And the more people share it, the more reach it will have. Don't hesitate to send an email, pick up the phone if it's something that's really important, and ask people to share on their personal Facebook, either their personal Facebook pages, or perhaps there are other coalitions in your community that could share as well. And, you know, we've got some great content here on this Liberal Area Coalition for Families, and you know, we've got a couple shares there. You know, unfortunately, I think this number could really increase if there was some direct reaching out to people involved with the group. So don't hesitate to ask. Okay. I think one of the most important things to consider is expectation management. You know, are we doing enough? That's something that's really hard to gauge, especially with social media. We may feel like, oh gosh, you know, we've only got 500 likes, or we think we should be at 1,000. We just don't know how well we're doing. I would encourage you to set goals and then learn to, you want to strive beyond those goals, but learn to be satisfied within those goals. Because I think one of the reasons that I think especially community organizations tend to slow down or lose steam on their Facebook pages is they feel like they're unsuccessful. They think nobody cares, nobody's liking our content, nobody's sharing it. But if you really work on setting these goals and then learn to be satisfied with once you've met them, or if you've exceeded them, great. I think it will keep your energy level up, and you'll realize, hey, we're doing some good stuff here. We're getting the message out. Engagement rate, which is the number of how many people actually see your post, and then the number who do something with it, whether they click on it, they like it, they share it, they comment. 1 to 2% is the industry average. So don't feel disheartened if your posts aren't taking off and going viral. It's just not a realistic expectation. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Yes, but don't feel disheartened if they're not. If you can keep your engagement rate around 1 to 2% or better, that's wonderful. We're very satisfied. The Kansas Health Foundation Facebook page, the engagement rate is 4%, which to us is great. If you don't know the industry average is 1 to 2%, you may think, wow, 4%, we're doing terribly, but it's actually really good. You want to make sure you're focusing on not just quantity of posts, but quality of posts and quality of comments and feedback. So, you may get some really great comments on one of your posts and really thoughtful comments, and that person who commented may volunteer for an event you've got coming up and may get involved, get engaged. Well, that's wonderful. That's worth making the post right there. And maybe it was only one comment, but look how far it went. So definitely focus on the quality in addition to the quantity. And again, don't be disheartened if the post only has 5 likes, because that might be the right 5 people to have seen it. So like we used to say when I worked back in real estate and back in the day, was to plan the work and work the plan. So plan what you're going to do with your social media accounts. If you're going to make 1 post a week, 1 post a day, if that's what you want to do, then go ahead and make that plan and then work to that plan. So don't feel frustrated if you're not able to post every day if that wasn't your plan. If your plan was to do once a week and that's what you can do and do it well, then definitely learn to be satisfied with that but grow your page according to your own time frame as well. I had a couple questions, I believe from Damaris sent these in I wanted to address. Looking forward or looking into the future, what media websites are 24 years and younger utilizing? Did a little bit of research on that. Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Snapchat, these are all platforms that the younger audience is using. But again, I would like to reiterate that even though Facebook might not be the best place to reach those 24 and younger, 70% of Facebook users engage with the site daily, and 45% do so several times a day. And that's actually an increase from 2013, where 63% that engaged with the site daily. So I definitely still encourage you to invest a good majority of your time in Facebook, but if the 24 and younger audience is where you'd like to reach, those are some other ideas: Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, and Snapchat. As far as what's out there in the future, Periscope is a great way. It's like a live broadcasting platform that some people are using. That might be something you could use for an event. Again, that might be a bit of a reach. I think if you're sticking with Facebook for now, I think it's still very smart, very strategic. But if you have additional questions for me on some of these other platforms, I'd be happy to answer them for you, because I think there's some potential there, but I still think the best investment of time for now, and probably for the next couple of years at least, would be with Facebook when it comes to community coalitions. Do we have any questions? Anybody wants to chime in the chat box? Have we had any questions come up? Okay, write them in the chat box. Don't have any yet. I did want to mention that if anybody's interested in a one-on-one consultation with me, I would be more than happy to talk with you about that. It does sound like the TA funds would be available for that type of a consultation, so definitely let us know if that's something you're interested in. Go over your social media accounts and help you decide different ways that you want to grow and reach a wider audience. Definitely let us know if that's something you're interested in. Great.
All right, does anybody have any questions before we conclude the webinar? If you have any questions, you'd want to type them in your chat box right now, and then I'll read them aloud for chat. If anybody has any questions, we'll just give it a minute or two. See if anybody has any questions before we close.
Well, while we're waiting for that, I was going to ask Adrian to talk about this, but I'll go ahead and do it. We did see several financial reports recently from the HCI1 communities, and the grants are winding down, and there's still a lot of leftover funds in those budgets. And so I really encourage you, if you are responsible for the budget, have a conversation with those who are responsible with trying to figure out a way to spend as much of those dollars as possible. We feel that you can make more progress if we can use those dollars, and so we encourage you to do that. As Kat said, you can certainly use those funds, the TA funds and other grant dollars in your grant if you have it budgeted, or if you need a budget change. I'd be happy to consider that, both for raising awareness of both your policy priority or raising awareness of your brand as a community coalition or leadership team. So I would encourage you to really try to be creative around how you can use those dollars.
Okay, and just this is Lindsay, and just to let you guys know, just to kind of further articulate what Kat was sharing, if any of the HCI communities would like to take advantage of a one-on-one consultation with her, just reach out to her through me. I can get you her name and her phone number. What it would include is basically, I believe, 3-step process. First, it's a package type deal. The first would be she will evaluate your current social media channels for the pros, the cons, and weaknesses and strengths. Then she would hold a one-on-one with your coalition of her findings and answer any questions and give advice as well. And the third would be a written report that maybe 1 or 2 pages just of her findings, so you can take it back to your coalition and make those changes. And the cost for that is $300. And we did, like Jeff said, we did get it approved through him that is, you know, if it relates to your policy priority, that does fit within that spending. And then also, too, a side note as well, we checked with Facebook boosting, which is basically that Facebook advertising, that yes, TA dollars are allowed for that type if the boost is either A, your coalition branding, getting your name out there, or B, your Facebook boost is actually about your policy priority. So if you're one of the, I believe, 11 coalition's policy priority is biking and walking trails, and you would like to do a Facebook boost about, you know, celebrating success, that's great. If it's a boost about tips on why walking is healthier, it is better for your health, that does count. But if it relates to like healthy foods, it does not relate. And so I just wanted to clarify those 2 types of spending opportunities that we have. So. Okay. All right. Adrienne, do you have some announcements?
Sure. Well, thank you, Kat, very much. Really appreciate the discussion today. Very useful information. Just a reminder that the webinar is being recorded and will be posted on SharePoint within the next several days. Also, shortly this afternoon, I will be sending out an email with a link to a short survey to ask for your feedback about the webinar. We really do appreciate the information and use it to plan upcoming events and webinars. The next semi-monthly reporting forms are due September 15th, next Tuesday, Wednesday, I believe. And then finally, the next statewide HCI convening is scheduled for October 28th and 29th in Wichita. And please feel free to share the invitation, encourage your local partners to attend, the CDRR teams and extension partners as well. Many of you already have them involved in your teams, but feel free to extend the invitation to them again. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time today, and we will see you soon. Take care.
Thank you.